Welcome to the Soulful Surgeon Podcast with Dr. Lisa Hunsicker, a sanctuary for healthcare workers. In this space, we honor your stories, your struggles, and your triumphs. Here, you are more than your role. You are seen, heard, and celebrated. Join me as we explore conversations that nourish the heart, elevate the mind, and remind us why we chose the path of healing. This is your time. This is your place. This is the Soulful Surgeon Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Soulful Surgeon Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lisa Hunsicker, and today I have a treat for you. This is part 2 of the series. Now, we just talked on our last podcast with all of the parents, and now we've got all the kids. What do kids think about having parents that are physicians? I have a wonderful group of folks here. Riley's here, and Shrey are here, and Kai are here. So let's go around and let's introduce yourselves so that everyone knows who you guys are attached to.
Riley, and my mom is Dr. Jody Widener, and I am currently a junior.
All right. Are you a junior in high school or are you junior in college?
Junior in high school.
Got it.
I'm Mira. I'm Dr. Charya's daughter, and I'm a sophomore in high school.
I'm Shrey. I'm also Dr. Charya's son, and I'm a sophomore in high school.
I'm Kai Hunsicker. I'm Dr. Hunsicker's son. I'm a student at CU Boulder. I'm a sophomore.
Great. All right. Well, we have a lot to talk about now as we go through this. This is like no holds barred. You get to say whatever you want about parents. So there's nothing that's off topic. And again, as we're going, if something comes up, please just feel free to just pop right up and let's talk about it. So first of all, what's it like being the kids of a physician? Do you ever feel like you have to share your parents with the hospital or the clinic or patients? Riley, what do you think?
I guess sometimes a little bit. My mom comes home tired after a long day, and so then she doesn't really want to talk to anyone else because she's just pooped, really. So it is a little difficult sometimes, but she makes time too for me. So.
How about Mira, Shrey? Mira, what do you think?
I feel like not really. My mom is around a lot. I don't know.
Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
Both. I don't
Okay.
know, just the teenager, so whatever works. But I think she spends a lot of time around the house as well. I think she tries to find a really good balance and is successful with that. So
Yeah, I would really agree. I feel like there's never a time where I'm debating if she's splitting or taking too much time at work. There's definitely a healthy balance of home time.
Okay. And Kai?
I think it's kind of interesting for me because both of my parents are doctors. So I feel like, having to be at the hospital, and especially on what kind of doctor you are, if you have to do full 24-hour shifts, it can be a lot harder just because you go a full day without seeing them or during the day. And then once they get home, they have all kinds of other stuff to do. But I feel like I wouldn't say that I felt any further distance to my parents because of their job than most people with regular jobs.
Okay. Great. Now, when your parents are home and you guys are spending time together, whether it's like an evening or maybe even the weekend, what are you guys doing? And do you feel like they're present or do you feel like there's other work stuff that's creeping in? Are they attached to their phones? What's going on?
Thing for me is my mom's sometimes attached to her phone a little bit, but typically when she gets home, she puts it all away pretty much, which I think is really nice. But yeah, it's just she's my mom and we just talk and it's like a normal conversation. So it's not necessarily like she's attached to work.
Right. What do you think?
Well, I would say that I don't think we spend that much time with our parents.
Okay.
But sometimes it's like she's on her phone a lot, but not in an unhealthy way. But just I understand that it's work and that work is what she does for a living. So obviously she's going to enjoy it.
I also think that like our whole family is really busy all the time. We have very different but full schedules. So it's kind of rare to find time when everyone is together doing something. But when we do, sometimes we go to brunch or dinner and we try to make it phones away. So like everyone's sort of centered. And I think for the most part, she's really good about that. And sometimes when she's on call, it's a little different because her phone has to be like active waiting for a call. But I think for the most part, she like tries to put a lot of attention on us, which is awesome.
Okay. And Kai, what do you think?
As far as something that we do during that time, I think especially for us is a family dinner. Just a time between our busy schedules with like school and sports, work, and any homework or extra work, that being able to have family dinner almost every night when it is possible is something we always do, and it's something I enjoy.
How about, I think you all see your parents as, in their job and it's busy, but you also see them as, your moms. In this scenario, everyone, it's the mom is the physician. So how does it feel, or what do you do when they come home and they've had a really, really crummy day and something really difficult has happened and it's something very emotional for them, maybe a patient interaction, maybe some patient is really very, very sick, or maybe, especially since all of us are in oncology, maybe someone's died. How do you feel, and how do you talk with them?
Well, I feel kind of a little sad for her, but also, I guess, happy in a weird way that she still continues to do what she does and proud of her for it. And I don't know, I tend to cook her dinner like after a rough day, where I'm a word of love person. So I'm a big texter emoji type. So definitely encouraging text, motivating emojis, all the things.
Shrey?
I don't take it very well. Normally my dad handles all that. So me and Mira will just sit in our room and not engage.
Well, what do you think about that? So, I think the thing is that as we're all, we're all growing up together, right? So you guys are growing up and we are, as physicians, are growing up. And, how do you feel when mom comes home and, someone's died or she's had someone that's really, really sick that she cares about?
I feel bad for her that she has to deal with that, but then she has, I think, very like supportive systems and people she talks to, whether it's like friends or a dad, or she doesn't talk to us much.
Yeah.
It's how bad day.
Yeah, I'd say generally she tries to avoid bringing that conflict on us.
Yeah.
But of course, sometimes like it happens like with people she's really close to. And I'd say it's pretty hard. Like it just feels like there's a lot of like tension in the room and we don't really know what. I would say I don't really know what to do, but my dad's
Do you wish that she talked to you more or less?
about that. I wouldn't really. Well,
I feel like I wouldn't know like really how to comfort her. But obviously you can do like basic things, like if you comfort anyone in an uneasy situation. But I feel like I don't know enough to like, I don't know, provide her with a more like comforting like feeling like my dad does.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I think I've actually gotten pretty lucky because I feel that you have a good way of focusing in at work, and when you come home, you can kind of not disengage from work, but put a little screen in between where you're with your family and just talking to us and about like how our days were, and not worrying about the stress of what's going on at work. Even if it does impact you, it's typically not noticed.
How do you feel if there was something that was really grave that was going on Is that something you feel like you would want to know about, or perhaps not, and feel like, that's more hospital stuff, and I don't really want to know all those details?
I think it depends. As I kind of grew up, like when I was younger, I'd probably say I wouldn't want to know, not out of just not caring, but maybe not understanding all the situation and all the deeper complexities to it. But as I've gotten older, it's become easier to understand and feel how you're feeling, and just being more knowledgeable about what could be happening and how it's affecting you. So I would say past a certain age point, it doesn't become an issue at all. But maybe when your kids are really young, it's probably difficult to connect with them on that. And I feel like they might just be a little confused.
Right, right. And certainly I think as kids are really young, you're not going to have that kind of conversation. But with all of you, you are wonderful young adults. And so now it's growing our relationship with each other. And so it's great to hear all of your perspectives on that. Now, when, and certainly COVID is going to play into this question, right? So what about safety? So do you ever worry? You ever worry about your parents, your parents' safety going to work, especially being exposed to all kinds of illnesses? And of course, we work in the OR, and there's all kinds of things that go on in the OR. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I guess I worry sometimes about it. And especially during COVID, I was like super worried, jittery a little bit. But I don't know. I think it's kind of calmed down now. And I feel like I know that she's going to be safe and know that she's going to be smart and not do anything kind of dumb and just do the best she can. So I don't know. I guess I'm not too worried about it now.
Well, how about like when remember when we first went into shutdown, and so we didn't really know very much about COVID.
Yeah.
And we knew a lot of people in healthcare were dying.
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely really nerve-wracking. But again, I don't know. I guess wear masks, get vaccinated, be safe, make smart choices. And she did all that. So I'm proud of her.
And Mira, what do you think?
I think my mom takes so many vitamins, so many precautions, and I think that I was never really worried about like illness, but I think like I remember one time she told us sort of a story like when I think somebody like shot themselves in their car, and it like got me thinking about how really anything could happen if he like did something else. There's just a lot of options. So sometimes I worry about her general well being, but then I visited the hospital so many times, and there are so many security measures that I genuinely feel pretty good about her safety.
Yeah, I
think,
would
Shrey?
agree with that. I would think I've never really worried about her safety in terms of illnesses and stuff, but she hasn't gone since a year and a half, so nothing start. But I remember that one time. It's been like, I think twice that there's been like some sort of gun incident in the hospital, and that's definitely been like a really big scare, knowing, especially after watching Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like the whole gun, it's just anybody that's and it's like a really tough thing, especially with all the deaths going on, that anybody significant other that loved them could be very emotional in that state. So they could react without really thinking critically. So I guess it's just more about like others versus like illnesses.
Okay.
I think it's hard just because of, you want your family and parents to be safe, but it's something that I think everyone thinks about, especially as being children of doctors.
And how did you feel, when COVID started? Again, we didn't know what was going on, and there were people who would go to work and not get to come home.
It's hard. It's hard because, you want to see your family, and they're very important to you. And sometimes like when they can't come home because they are, helping other people and helping save lives, you kind of want to be selfish and have them come home, but on the other hand, you realize that they're doing the right thing and they're where they need to be and they have to help.
You think your parents ever feel guilty about what they do and their kind of work that they do?
I don't know that she necessarily feels guilty about helping other people, but I think there's some guilt about maybe not being home enough, at least from my standpoint, because she works like 9-10 hour days. And so it's a lot. And then again, she comes home and she's just exhausted. And so I think she does probably have some guilt about not hanging out with us as much as she could. But then again, I feel like it's plenty and she's doing great.
I feel like it's similar with our mom. Actually, she'll come home and be like, oh, am I not spending enough time with our kids? Should I take more time off? Should I do half days Friday? And she's like always proposing more and more options. So I think that I think she just wants us to be happy with her present. And she like does everything to try and achieve that. And it's not like guilt about her work necessarily, but like a lack of presence. But I think she feels it like a lot less because she's been spending a lot of time with us recently.
I would say that, yeah, she definitely feels guilty sometimes for the amount of work she does. But I think she feels that it's a lot more than we do because of our schedules. We never really like think that she's been missing because like we're missing a lot. But I think a lot of the time when she's at work, she feels like she could be home, but she has to realize that like we're not home. So there's not like the only time we would spend. So for us, it seems like she's home a lot. That's because we're only seeing her when we're home. And I think that she's in work a lot, thinking that the house is like she's not there, but nobody is. So it's
How about when you were younger? I mean, you're older now where you're busy. What do you think when you guys were littler?
I think, yeah, it was just our dad and then he was working. So then we were just causing chaos or or just really bored. And I think we ever needed a ride somewhere and then we asked our dad, he's knowing working. She's, oh, if I was home, I could take you. I think she did always feel a sort of guilt with not just like being there. But then like, I think she might also be like kind of regretful that she wasn't there when we all were there. And now that we're gone all the time and she's kind of like honestly home more than we are, I think she might be kind of sad that she missed time.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's hard because you always want your family home and you can tell when they feel guilty. I've seen it. And even though sometimes they don't just upright and tell you, you can tell. And it's hard because you kind of hurt a little because you know that there's nothing that you can do to stop that.
So what do you think, taking all that into account and thinking about all the things that they do as physicians, what do you think the worst part of their day is?
I don't know. I'm going to say patients that don't follow her advice. I know that really annoys her and gets to her and certainly almost makes her lose her patience. She holds it together pretty well, but certainly I could not do it. So.
And then what do you think the best part of her day is?
Patients that listen to her. And I don't know, I guess I know she gets really happy about the patients who come to her after their surgery and are like, you saved my life. She's humble. And so oh no, it was like the whole team kind of, which it kind of was, but also she played a pretty big part. So I think that's definitely the best part of her job that she loves.
Mira, Shrey, what do you think?
the worst part is also, people that are not very kind to her at her job. I think she values people's opinions a lot, so that when people are kind of rude or rough or not very understanding, it's very hard for her. And then I think the part she values most, is just good interactions. I think she really loves seeing people and values those connections every day. So I think that, yeah, it could go either way. Nice people make her very happy, and great people make her very sad.
I was
Everything.
Yeah. She, I don't know. I honestly don't know what her exact position is, but it's like when she has to deal with firing people, or if somebody made like a big mistake, and then, there's a lot of processes that happen. I don't think she likes like having to deal with someone who did something like wrong. I think it's like she comes home and talks about it sometimes. She's like, oh, like this person messed up so many times and a bunch of people are telling me something, but I just feel like there were like, I don't know, it's just a lot of drama, and like sometimes it's like, I don't know, it just can put her in a bad.
Yeah, like conflicts between her and her work friends.
Yeah.
What do you think the best part, Mira? What do you think the best part of her day is?
Maybe just showing up and seeing everyone that she cares about and helping people, because that makes her really happy.
Okay.
I would say best part of your day is coming home and being able to spend time with your family, talk to us, and listen to our days, no matter how long and tiring yours was. And I think that one of the most difficult parts is having to go and take care of so many people every day, all throughout the week, and having less time to take care of the ones that you love and care about at home. But I think we're probably our brightest part of the day.
Okay. What do you think as far as like socially, right? You've got all your friends and all the stuff that you're doing, all your activities. You feel like your parents interfere, like their job gets in the way of any social stuff, activities, missing out, either you not making it to where you need to be because they can't get you there, or perhaps you're there and you want them to be there, but they're at their job and they're at the hospital. Any thoughts about that?
I don't know. For me, I guess I'm not really a busy person, honestly. I focus more on academics. So from that standpoint, I don't really need people to drive me places, or be present for really any activities. But yeah, so I don't know. I think she certainly is present when she needs to be. Like my brother just did like his whole play and had a main character role, and she showed up all of the 5 nights. Like she got off early and blocked her schedule and did it. And then I know for me, like I'm touring colleges now, and so she's definitely been present for all the 3 we've done so far. I think she definitely makes time.
Yeah, I think that I don't think it's like when we were younger, maybe a few times if I wanted to ride to a friend's house, because like I go to a different school than my brother, but I live pretty far from all of my friends. They're all like a separate area. So sometimes I was like, oh my gosh, nobody can drive me. But now that I can drive myself, it's really not a problem. And then she shows up, like I do a lot of sports. So she showed up to basically all of my basketball games, and it's probably going to all my tennis matches. So I think that and all my I didn't say that, but like she just makes a big part in showing up to support us. And I think that's like the most important thing.
Yeah, I would say it was probably a larger problem in the past because our dad was also very focused on work. So then when both parents were focused on work, we couldn't really get rides anywhere. And I would say they mostly made time for sports or academics, but anything to do with friends, they kind of brushed aside. But it's definitely a lot better now. And my dad has a major role in like driving us and like being more like household activities and stuff, which is very nice. And that, yeah, I think my mom definitely makes time between going to all like club matches, school matches. But yeah, I think sometimes she thinks she's not doing enough, but she definitely makes a lot of time.
What do you think, Kai?
I think it can be challenging just because sometimes you have people's lives to take care of that you can't pick up and block out time to go places. But I feel like for the most part, as long as you give ample planning, it's not as big of an issue as it's thought of. And sometimes, you could be wanting to do something with your parents, and you know that where they are is probably the better place, even if it's not with you. So it's kind of a balance. But as long as there's ample planning, I feel like most things usually work.
And what do you think about being the child of a doctor? Do you think there is anything that people don't realize about you? So if you're hanging out in your friend group or meeting people and you're talking with everyone and then it comes up that your parents' a physician, is there anything that's hard or unexpected that comes up?
I don't know. I don't feel like for me there is. I feel like most people kind of applaud it actually and are proud of it. And are like, oh wow, that's so cool. What's up? So I don't feel like there's anything really difficult about it.
How about you, Mira, Shrey?
I think it's really cool. I love when people ask to do it. I can see that she's a doctor because I know she worked really hard for it. But in terms of difference, I don't think there's very much of a difference compared to normal jobs. But I know she's also taking more roles and less stuff to do with patients. So it's becoming more, I don't know, stuff in private equity.
Yeah, I also think it's really cool. Like, I heard we were flying somewhere and the captain, like, announced something about, I don't know, they were like, and they just mentioned her. And I was like, okay, I think it's, like, cool that people know her. But then also, I feel like it's not, like, a lot, or not a lot, but a fair amount of people, like, have cancer or experience that. And then I know, like, some of my friends' moms do. And I'm like, oh, like, what if there's like a connect? Like, it's just like weird to think about that. Like, my mom could be helping someone that like I know, but like, it's just like weird to think about. But I don't think it ever happens. But I just think that'd be weird.
Okay.
I don't think that there's a difference between most jobs. I actually think that most of my friends find it really cool that your parents can be able to help people, save lives, make people's lives better. So I think it's actually a benefit telling people that my parents are doctors.
And so now here's the fun part. So you listen to your parents all the time and they're talking about medicine all the time. Is there anything that has resonated with you that you feel like, you know what, I learned this from this particular thing in medicine and it's really stuck with me. And this is something that's really important to me. Anything like that ever happen? Riley?
I feel like there have been several, but I cannot think of anything specific right now. I don't know. I feel like just generally like perseverance, because I don't know, like her job's really, 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 really hard, but she like sticks it through and keeps helping people and keeps doing it. So yeah, I really just think she's taught me to keep trying and never give up.
Trey, what do you think?
I think I learned, I'm going to get it wrong, like 10 cc's and 10 mil flow. I learned that in chemistry, but I forgot it also.
How about you, Mira?
One time I had like a report in English and I had to do a paper about microplastics or something. And then I read like half of an article and my mom was like, what are you doing? I was like, a paper. And she was like, oh my gosh, I know all about that. And then she like really helped me. And I had all these fancy words in my paper. So I was like, that was just like really nice.
Okay.
I think living with you and Chris, you're both doctors, so you're always using the lingo, and you pick up on some things, and sometimes you guys are talking, and I can't even understand you. But other times, I can kind of piece together like what these massive words are and figure it out, and then I'll find myself randomly using them with my friends or out in public, and people have no idea what I'm talking about, and so I'm like, oh. But no, I definitely think that there's a lot that you learn without thinking about it or being actually told, but just both between values and just everything that goes on in the medical world. I think more is just brought into the home.
Okay. So now, if you're sitting here and this is being broadcast and you're going to talk to a group of kids who have, physicians or even other healthcare workers, maybe nurses, maybe respiratory therapists, a nutritionist, all kinds of things. So you're in the medical field and dealing with all this stuff. What do you say to other kids? What's helpful? What's been helpful for you?
I don't know. I feel like this could probably apply to all parents, but just be kind to them. I don't know. They do so much for you. And I feel like I take that for granted, like a lot of the time. So I feel like just be grateful and I don't know, be kind to them.
I would say, I don't know, it's like sort of similar to Riley's, but just like acknowledging like how much they do for you and how hard they try, because they do, I feel like, a lot behind the scenes and you might not always realize it. And whether it's like your mom or like your dad, like it's also their first time living, like they just want to make you happy. And I don't know, I just feel like you should give them some grace when you don't think they like need it, or if you get mad at them because they weren't there, but it's like they're just trying really hard.
I agree.
Okay.
I think that a lot of what happens at work, and especially the most stressful and hard parts of it, you never hear about. And that's kind of, I think, a skill, not bringing all of the stresses and hardships of everything you're doing and dealing with and coming home and being able to kind of separate your work and home life. So just appreciating that they do that, but also appreciating that they're, doing one of the hardest jobs out there and making it work, which is really, really inspiring and really cool. Being able to help and save people just like as your job. So I think it's really important to make sure and stress how much you love and enjoy them and all that stuff.
Okay, now for the fun part. So we are crazy people. What do you think? Tell me just a ridiculous story of like things that something that's happened that that none of the other kids is going to have something like this, but because you have a physician parent, tell me a funny thing.
I don't know. I can't remember. It wasn't recently, but it might have been while she was in residency. But she had a patient come in and telling her that something smells. And so she and another guy or girl or whatever were like, oh, okay. Then they lifted up her belly and she had a half-eaten sandwich, like, that got stuck down there. That might be more gross than funny, but yeah, I don't know. That's definitely a story that's stuck. So,
Mira, Shrey, do you guys have any experience? Kai, do you want to chime in at all?
Well, I know that like she's always like needs to help people. So one time this was like 2 weeks ago. It was snowy and the person from us slid out. And I really wanted to go to Costco because I really wanted a chicken bake, but she needed to help the person get out. So she started shoveling with her hands under their tires, all 4 of their tires. And I had to sit in the car for 2 hours while she helped this person. And then she got in the car. She was like, why didn't you help? And I was like, I don't know. I just really wanted to go to Costco. And she was like, well, you need to help in those scenarios. And I'm like, okay. Could have just called someone with a shovel and you didn't have to spend 2 hours with your hands. But it's fine.
Mary, how about you? Any funny experiences with your mom?
Not really. I just think it's funny when we're walking in like a store or something and she recognizes me and then she's, oh my gosh, I know them. I look like this. Like, I can't be here. And then she'll proceed to hide until they leave. So I just always find it like funny when we're out and that happens.
Okay. Any funny experiences?
Yeah, I don't know if it's more funny or gross or disturbing, but the conversations at the dinner table of just, sometimes we're talking about something completely normal. And then the next second it's like operations and like how everything went wrong today and all the nasty and right. And I'm looking down at like spaghetti or something, like thinking it's someone's intestines or I don't know, just the casual dinner talk of horrific things is what always gets me laughing.
Riley, do you have that too?
I definitely do. Yeah. And I also have boob pictures because she takes pictures of a lot of boobs. And so I'm like casually scrolling through her gallery of like our last vacation. And then there's like a boob picture out of nowhere. And it's a little bit of a shock.
Well, is there anything that you want to say to your folks? Because we appreciate your time, taking time to come and talk with us. Anything that you want to say to your folks? Right?
I don't just telling her I love her and she's amazing. Yeah. And basically my superhero. So
I was just going to say, I'm so proud of you. You're an amazing person who's worked really hard for everything. And it's also
Shrey?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Thank you for everything you do. I know it's hard and it's not easy work, but you go and you show up every day. And even and especially when you don't want to, you never complain about it. And then taking the time to take more time out of your day to go ahead and talk about it and make a whole podcast for other people.
Thank you. So everyone, we're going to wrap this up. What a wonderful evening with these young folks. And this is our future. And I want to say thank you to all of you for joining us. We are very fortunate as physicians, as nurses, as everyone in healthcare, all the healthcare workers. We're so, so grateful for our families. And I hope that we're always trying to get to you. And we're thinking about you all day long. And we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and help share, because there's lots of young people out there who are basically in the same place as you. And so I hope you know how much we all love you. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us here at the Soulful Surgeon Podcast. We've had a wonderful evening. I hope this has been enlightening for you all. And I hope this shares a really wonderful window into our families and into our lives. And I hope you understand how much we love all of you. We love our patients and we love our families. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen today. As always, I'm your Soulful Surgeon. I'm Dr. Lisa Hunsicker. Good night. Thank you for joining me on the Soulful Surgeon Podcast. I hope today's conversation offered you reflection, encouragement, and a reminder that you are not alone on this journey. If this episode spoke to your heart, please share it with someone who might need it as well. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a moment of connecting with healthcare workers all over. You can find us on the web at soulfulsurgeon.com. You can find us on Instagram at Soulful Surgeon. And you can find us on LinkedIn at Lisa Hunsicker, MD. Until next time, take care of yourself the way you care for others. And remember, your story matters here.